Well, this is a very belated video. Hello BookTube, it's Leah Cooper here, and today I'm bringing you my life update, channel update, state of the channel, goals for next year video. How about let's just do all of that in one video and see if I can keep it under 10 minutes. Wow, so I've been trying to make a life update video for like 6 months. And I haven't, because I've been terrible about making BookTube videos. I've been terrible about reading in general, which has contributed to that. 2018 was a bad year. I think it was a bad year for a lot of people. Well, it was also like a great year. It was like a good and bad year for me. At the end of 2017, I got a temporary job as a barista at Barnes Nobles, which I did during the end of November, December, and most of January. And I really disliked it. I got the job sort of by accident. I applied for it in a panic in 2017 when books weren't selling, and I was feeling very depressed. Thankfully, it was a temporary position, so it did end in January. They offered me a full-time position, and like, I think logically, my logical brain says you should have taken it, and my heart says, thank God you're not doing it anymore. Working in retail, even working in barista retail, gives me horrible depression. And one of the things it does is it makes me so exhausted from having to interact with people. I'm deeply an introverted person, and I don't like having to interact with a ton of people, and I don't like pretending to be happy all the time, which is something, if you work in food industry, food service, you know, is something that's like, or retail, you know, that's something that you have to do. That really forced fake affect is incredibly draining. And basically, I started off this year not wanting to read and not really reading at all, which is ironic since I was working at Barnes Nobles. But I couldn't do any of those things. About the only thing I had the energy to do was come home in the evenings, log on to Overwatch, and chill out playing Overwatch with some friends. So not a great auspicious beginning to the year. However, I did start talking to one of my best gaming friends who I've known for a bunch of years. We used to play Star Wars: The Old Republic together, and I had broke communication with them somewhat unjustly over a misunderstanding. Let's put it that way. But I contacted them again, asking them if they wanted to play Overwatch, and they did. And we fell right back into our friendship, and in May we started seeing one another. So I've been dating my friend. I'll just call him DT because that's what he goes by. That's his online handle, since May. And that's been a really positive thing in my life and a really great thing in my life. However, it does mean I've been spending a lot of time I might have been spending reading, I tend to spend with him. So I was in a reading slump, and then also I had no reason to force myself to get out of that reading slump because I had other things to do. I'm gonna have to do this in 10 minutes because my camera battery's dying. The second half of my year, I was still in a reading slump. I was barely reading a couple of books a month. I didn't read anything this year that was groundbreaking for me. I didn't read anything that was Uprooted or The Captive Prince. I don't know if that's just because I didn't read as much, which could be it. I just didn't get exposed to as many books this year as possible, but whatever. I'm slowly working the last couple of months on turning that around, reading more consistently, even if I'm not as excited about reading as I have been in the past, and kind of focusing on reading things not because they're popular, but because they're things that I own, that I want to get into, that I want to read. I've been reading a lot more children's fiction, middle grade fiction. I've been listening to a lot more on audiobook. 25% of my reading this year was on audio. And that was really helpful in keeping me reading. So, what other life updates do I have? I published 2 novels this year. One of them at the beginning of the year, which was the 4th book in my main trilogy that I write under my name, Leah Cooper. I also published the first book in what I hope to be at least a duology with 9 Star Press called Death Days, and that is about a Pacific Northwest necromancer who has a spell go awry and is in love with his TA. Anyways, I'll leave a link down below to Death Days if you're interested in checking it out, or any of 9 Star Press's other books. They are a niche queer publisher, They publish a lot of fiction across the queer spectrum in several different genres, with kind of an emphasis on science fiction and fantasy, though they do publish in other genres. So definitely check them out if you're interested in those things, which I would be shocked if anyone watching me is not at least a little bit interested in queer fiction. I also wrote a short story that was included in a multi-author short story anthology called Love and Bubbles. This anthology was edited by a good friend, Jaylee James. I will leave a link to that down below as well. You can check it out. They're queer romantic short stories set underwater. So the short story I wrote was called The Selkie Wife, and it is about a hag and a Selkie who have a 400-year relationship. And it also touches on some like environmental issues, that kind of thing. It was a lot of fun writing that short story, and the anthology is like super cool. So, and it's gorgeous. So check it out if that kind of thing interests you as well. What else? I think that's kind of it for career stuff. This has not been a good writing year. I've written very, very little. Oh, actually, one other thing. I did publish the first book in a new series, but it's also under a new pen name. It's under the pen name Anne Cooper, and it's the first book in what I'm titling the Witch of Meridian series. It's called Beyond Death. I will leave a link to it down below. I usually write mostly queer fantasy mystery books, and I wanted to create a new pen name for books that don't really have any romance in them. So this novel, Beyond Death, is kind of, I like to call it a cozy witch, small town, grimdark kind of thing, because there are definitely some grim elements, and it also takes from science fiction and fantasy, and it's about a witch who wakes up in an alternate reality that's not her own, in the body of herself in that reality, and her attempts to figure out what's happened and how to get back home to her own reality. So check that out if that interests you. Be sure and join the mailing list if you want to have, actually you can join the mailing list for either pen name if you're interested in any of my new releases. But yeah, I think that's it for career book news from me. It wasn't a good writing year. I hope next year will be better. Professionally, this 2018 was a real low, unfortunately. So channel updates. I was very inconsistent in 2017 with posting videos, and it certainly didn't do the channel any good. So I was very discouraged last year when YouTube changed its rules for monetization, primarily because, not because I thought my little tiny channel was ever going to make me money, but more so when you're monetized, YouTube promotes your video more because they make money off of people watching your video. So the algorithms are slightly more in your favor, and when you're not monetized, good luck being organically discovered. And I love the fact that I have several of you who like watch my videos and I watch your videos, and we're like booktube friends, or at least I kind of think of us that way, and everything. But like at the same time, who is on YouTube and has no desire to grow their channel? Like, I think we'd all be lying if any of us said that. Like, everyone wants more subscribers and more viewers and more people to chat with, right? That's why we're here. And so the fact that that change in the monetization rules hurt small channels so profoundly was very discouraging. Just like as a life thing, like as a life goal, I do want to pay this channel a little bit more attention than I did last year. Partly that's because I want to keep myself more accountable to reading more, and because I just want to be more productive regularly. So in 2018, I am going to try to post 4 videos a month, which should work out to be about a video a week. That's my goal. It's kind of like how I want to read 1 book a week. That's my goal. So if I can hit those 2 goals, I'm going to be pretty satisfied. I probably won't have a set day of the week that I post, but hopefully it'll be 1 video a week. And I hope to do a lot more book reviews. My goal last year was to just in general do more book reviews, and that didn't happen at all. But it is once again my goal, because I do think book reviews are really awesome and some of my best content, and the content that I enjoy watching on BookTube. So yeah, as well as wrap-ups. Wrap-ups, I think, are also like my favorite things. So those are my goals not extravagant at all, but maybe doable. Let me know what's one of your goals in 2018, and thank you for watching. Be sure to hit that subscribe button. If you enjoy listening to me ramble about books or whatever, follow me on Twitter, etc. See ya.